Hey, welcome back, Chubby.
Hey, been a minute.
It's been a minute. It's been since the summer, about all summer, Chad.
We took the month of July. Yeah, nobody knew. I mean, we kept throwing it out, but it's been a minute since we've sat down.
So we're excited to get back in. We got Mr. Ty with us. How you doing, sir? Cheers.
Glad to be here.
Cheers. What is this seltzer you're drinking? This grapefruit seltzer.
Little pink grapefruit.
Just 0 calorie Kroger brand, 0 grapefruit water seltzer.
Yep. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Just a little taste, getting your water at the same time. All right. Okay. So you are with the Chillicothe Trail organization. You're going to tell us about the happening events of Chillicothe and Ross County and all the biking. You guys are going to have to listen to more biking. Chad, I know they're excited about it.
Oh, heck yeah, they love it. They love it. I mean, we enjoy talking about biking.
I mean, I like to talk about biking.
Yeah.
So tell us about it. Okay. What's going on?
So actually, Chillicothe Trails represents the 5 non-motorized trails. So biking is obviously one, mountain biking, but also the kind of the paved path. So think of the Paint Creek Recreational Trail around Chillicothe. Also equestrian or horses, hiking, of course, and that's really the majority of trail users in really across the United States. Hiking is the number one thing that people do to engage with trails. And then the last one is water. And so we technically don't have any water trails right now, but Ross County actually has the most stream miles in the state of Ohio.
What's water trails?
Water trails would be like a path or a trail that's in the water. So think of kayaking and canoeing. Okay. There's a defined put-in place and a defined take-out place. So water trails are a thing across the state and the country. We just happen not to have any quite yet in our communities.
So let's get to the meat on the bone. You're trying to develop basically what's already here through Great Seal.
So Great Seal is a super good park that
let's talk about Great Seal and what it is. Is would you classify Great Seal as a mountain bike park?
I would not. It's not technically a mountain bike park.
Okay.
It has multiple users, obviously, as you know.
Meaning horseback, hiking.
It's mostly multi-use trails that are in Great Seal. But you do have hunting and horseback riding, mountain biking, hiking. I mean, I've been riding Great Seal since probably 1989 or 1990, and just the evolution is tremendous. Of course, an older guy.
What was that like in the early?
It was a lot of hike a bike up the fall line trail, and then you blast down and screaming and holding on to both brakes. At least me, because I was technically not a great rider. Yeah. So
we didn't have anything like that down here in Jackson. That sport didn't exist, did it?
Not that I know of. I mean, there were a few guys but they did a lot of road biking, I think.
Yeah, road biking was a big thing, but not many mountain bikers. Nobody did it because we didn't have that big hill, that anybody was doing that, no bike shops.
Right.
That's a huge thing. So since then, that has been, I started riding that in probably 2002. 1 or 2, maybe early 2000s, and I was on horseback. Okay, I've really watched it used to, whenever I started riding it, it was just kind of like the outer loop, and now it's got all these little, inner. I've watched that development happen. But I mean, what's the major thing that you've seen? Across the road. Yeah,
I mean, Great Seal's changed a lot in the 30 plus years that I've thought about it. Back in the day, it was that straight up, straight down, but it's had a lot of organic development. We've had a lot of great volunteers, mountain bike volunteers that have, taken that park as their home park and developed it over the years, starting back in, the late 80s, early 90s. It's just been real organic. So we've added some trails here and there, but what's happened is you've taken out a lot of those fall line type trails and really converted it into more contour and more sustainable trails. It's not 100% there yet. Yeah. We still got a lot of work to do.
So forgive my ignorance here, Ty, but like when you're talking about developing a trail, what goes into that? I mean, we talk about like adding obstacles and stuff like that for bikes or
more runoff. So what?
Stopping the erosion.
Yeah, you have to develop. It's engineering by dirt.
Right. Okay.
So and that way it flows.
Are they adding like retaining walls?
No. Well, you have to make sure it flows. You have to make sure that it goes from somewhere to somewhere.
Yeah. Okay.
It crosses where it needs to cross, and it doesn't.
There's a lot of design elements.
Yeah.
It truly is an engineering. IMBA has had a Trail Solutions publication for probably 30 plus years. It really has been the Bible for mountain biking anyway, to how to develop a trail. So technically there's a couple rules I'll just throw out as an example. One's called the half rule. So if you have a grade of say 15% on the hill, the half rule would be, say, you don't want to go over that with the trail that's coming down the hill. So that's just one element. There's probably hundreds of them. But that's an example.
Would that be for like a blue or a black diamond? I mean, it depends on what you're looking at.
It depends on what you're looking for. And that's developed over the years that probably Trail Solutions hasn't kept up with. There's a lot of flow trails now that have, significant grade with a lot of obstacles and, design elements that I technically couldn't ride and probably never will ride in my time. But it's really engaged the different set of mountain bikers, and it's just a lot more technical, and people will travel for a long time, to have those features.
Oh my goodness. Just finished up with one of our favorite stops after football.
McDonald's.
That's right. Thank you, Brad and Sarah Munn, and all of our local McDonald's restaurants for being great sponsors here at the Chubbies. Chubbies, I still want to know how many points you got. I've got more of them tonight. Go to McDonald's. Help out Brad and Sarah Munn. They sure help out our communities. Thanks, Brad and Sarah.
Oh, absolutely. My wife went out tonight. Okay. My wife has never biked really in her life. Really. She went out tonight. We got her bike. She went out and rode the pump track at Chauncey tonight.
Okay.
And loved it.
Well, there you go.
I mean, but there's something for everybody. In that mountain, that whole sport, it just depends on what you want to do as far as trail development. There's going to be something in that whole, whenever they engineer a trail, it's just, what are you going to engineer? Are you going to engineer a pump track? Are you going to engineer a trail with a obstacle? Are you going to engineer, a flow trail? Are you going to engineer, how far do you want to take it? How's your land lay? How far do you want to take it? How far do you see that Great Seal going? I mean, do you see it getting like pro level stuff, or do you see it just kind of getting flowier? Does that make sense?
It does. I think that's a tough call, right now, because that is a multi-use park, and to have it dedicated as a mountain bike park or dedicated as an equestrian park or it's tough. And so
it belongs to the state.
That's right. Well, it belongs to the people of the state, and it belongs to our communities. And ODNR is very, interested in providing, an outdoor recreation that people want to enjoy. It's just tough. There's a lot of history there too. There's mountain bikers like myself. I've been out there since 1990, and
accept what it can be.
Right.
It doesn't have to be anything.
I think that's probably the bigger thing that we've been trying to work with DNR, because DNR has about 60% of the land mass that's publicly available in Ross County. And so for us to, not work with DNR, you're ignoring the chunk of land mass that has most of the trails.
Yeah.
And so we've developed, I think, a good relationship with the park system. We've got a super good relationship with the park manager there. And so, when we look to develop new trails, there's a process that's developing.
Is there a park manager of Great Seal?
There is.
I've never seen that guy.
Yeah.
Person.
He's the manager there, Scioto Trail State Park, and also Tar Hollow.
Oh yeah.
I think it's those three.
Big territory.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think, we've got this huge opportunity, and it's not only in Ross County. I mean, we see the same thing in Jackson and Vinton. Hawking has obviously made good, I think, on some of their outdoor recreation and what they can do there to attract visitors has been significant. But we have an opportunity that we haven't scratched the surface yet on what that potential could be. And so we're trying to take Chillicothe Trails is really trying to emerge as that group that is the voice of the trail community. And we've not succeeded yet. I mean, we're still in our infancy, quite frankly.
How old is the organization?
I think we organized in 2019 or incorporated in 2019. It's a nonprofit, so it's a legit nonprofit company.
Right.
We do have officers. We've got bylaws. We've got some members. I would say that our membership is not where it needs to be, and we've not emerged as that single voice for the non-motorized trail community. But we've had some wins. I mean, we've been able to expand some mountain biking in Great Seal. We hosted a NICA race out at Paint Creek last year, so we didn't make the cut quite this year. So we got an IMBA. We won a grant through Trail Solutions, and we have a mountain bike plan for Ross County. So we've got some wins. We just are still in that kind of fledgling adolescent time frame.
So tell me about the the direction you're wanting to go with tying into the rest of the community from the Great Seal Park. And that's kind of what I was reading into that, I guess, a little bit, that there's a plan, and that's, they're talked about brewery developments and just opportunities and,
Sure. I mean, I think there's a recognition that we can do a lot more with our outdoor recreation in Ross County. And so trails are one element of that. And so there's kind of two phases of this, or two motivations for this.
Can I stop you right there? Okay. So I think this is a question I want to ask. Okay. Why do you think that Ross County would be worth coming to? Like, why do you think that this would make Ross County a destination? Like, what is this going to do to bring people to Ross County? And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like how could Jackson, or like how can these Southern Ohio towns, make that what you're wanting to do, draw people in? So like how did you make this make sense?
So I think if you reference what you referenced,
why is everybody wanting to do this? I guess, is my question.
Where everybody in like Jackson and Pikes involved with this, everybody's wanting to create an outdoor economy. Quite frankly,
and I guess that was my question.
I think the reason is there's lots of land assets that are there that lend themselves to being in the outdoors, and people enjoy the outdoors, whether it's fishing or hunting. I mean, we obviously have a long culture of that in this community, but we see that we can access the outdoors, and so I think that potential hasn't been realized yet, and I think that's the motivation. I know that's my motivation. That right now we've got the topography, we've got the geography. We've got the publicly accessible ground. We just aren't a destination quite yet. We wouldn't qualify as a destination. And mountain biking has really pretty specific criteria, or IMBA has kind of set criteria to say, you want to travel there, it's a destination. And we don't meet that criteria yet, but we've got all the elements. So for instance, we've got the topography. You look at Ross County, the amount of relief that we've got in the hills is over 500 feet. We've got, big land masses, like 1,500 acres, all in one place, right?
1986 or something like that, Great Seal.
You've got access to big population areas. So we're 45 minutes from Columbus. People can fly into Columbus and be in Chillicothe and in Ross County in less than an hour.
Yeah.
And so you got a nice downtown. You've got coffee amenities. You've got bars and taverns that you can visit. So there's a lot of those elements that are there. We just haven't been able to pull them together in a way that, it makes sense. People want to travel from Kentucky or Pennsylvania and come here, like what we do. We go to Brown County, Indiana, or Marquette, Michigan, or those type of destinations, because those are truly destinations. But we've got the assets here. We just haven't quite made good on them yet.
Well, and it seems like really we've probably got the hardest part to find in the topography. I mean, to make all that make sense. I mean, that's the beauty of this area. I mean,
a lot of us think so.
Yeah, right.
But frankly, that's been one of our struggles and that was really the purpose or the thought process between with Chillicothe Trails. Let's create a voice, that we can advocate with DNR, with our community leaders, with our governmental leaders, to say this is important for our community for all sorts of reasons. There's an economic development piece of this. There's also a health component. And so that's one that I'm personally interested in. The ability to access nature for both mental and physical health is well documented. And we need that more now than probably what we've ever needed that. Sure. And so we wanted to be able to advocate. We wanted to have signature events, which I know we're going to talk about a cool event called GPS 100 at some point. But have signature events that would pull people into the community.
Hey, everybody. I want to talk to you about one of our special friends and friend of the program, Geiger Brothers Construction. Man, those guys have been with us since the start. Scott Massey, even though we're kind of hard on you sometimes, we sure do appreciate your sponsorship. And guys, if you own a commercial business and you need some contracting, engineering work, anything done, give those guys a call, 740-286-0800. Geiger Brothers. Thanks.
And then also build trails that are destination worthy. And so really Chillicothe Trails was about how do we pull together that community, create that voice, create that excitement, do it in a way that's professional, and we're developing trails that can be destination quality.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's what people around us are doing it. I mean, I've been going to these races and I'm seeing it, and I've been seeing these trail systems that really aren't any better. I mean, it's just a different lay of topography, and I mean, man, they've just got these humongous crowds of people coming into them. I mean,
well, you referenced Bailey's.
Yeah.
And so that's a super good case study example of what you can do if you pull together enough people that have a common kind of vision and strategy and pull it together in a way that you can get funding.
So let's talk about Bailey's then. So the idea that Bailey's has is basically they're selling you, not I'm saying selling, we're just talking podcast here, but they're giving you the idea online. The experience is, right, I think 56 right now. Am I right?
Sounds right.
So like 56 miles of trails currently. Come ride them, right? And at the end, it's going to be 88, I think, right?
Correct.
Something like that. So they're selling you that experience of riding that whole trail system of the 88 miles.
So it's that, and it is destination quality. These were professionally built.
They were flow trails, yeah.
Built trails.
Yeah.
And they cater to whether you're a beginner rider, you reference the pump track, which is a super good amenity, out to intermediate, and then they're adding
even pro.
Yep, they're adding really significant trails now. So that's a great example that you can utilize your topography and your geography in a way that you can take advantage of the outdoors. And they've done a great job of, partnering with the National Forest, partnering with the local community, the government, and now you're seeing, investment.
So how are they doing that? I mean, so what's moving the wheels of all this?
So they had a group called the Outdoor Recreation Council of Appalachia, which
just private group, public group.
It's a council of governments. So they got investment from like the city of Athens, the county of Athens, and there's been other investors. And I'm not an expert on it, but I've kind of watched from afar and kept communication with them because their whole vision is about how do we take, this swath of Appalachia that's typically been an extractive type economy, whether it was coal or whether it was, the minerals or iron ore or all these things that we've extracted from our communities for the last 150 years. How do we say, look, we have a geography and these assets, these natural assets here that we can make, additive. And so outdoor recreation is one of those ways. And they always envisioned that it was a broader area, multiple counties that could come together and, be an umbrella for development of the outdoor recreation. And so Bailey's was their first project. And now, they're expanding beyond that. They've just signed on, I think, 6 or 7 counties now that are part of the group that will now be a part of an advisory team, that we can now stay connected and what are the next developments.
How long did that development take, the Bailey's project?
I don't know the exact start. I think the feasibility feasibility study was done maybe in 2017 that really
That's quick then.
it really was, and that adds to some of my frustration sometimes because I felt like we started in 2016, 2017 with really trying to map out the vision and did some good work, but we haven't been able to accelerate the level that we'd like to.
And I tell you, I'm just amazed I've been all over, man. I mean, between horses and bikes, and I mean, especially me and my dad, between the two of us, and I was telling him the other day, within 2 hours of here, just in a broad circle. I mean, I would say that there's probably just in natural built, I don't know, would you call these public trails, I guess, public, equestrian, mountain biking, hiking trails. I would say in natural parks or whatever you want to call them, there's probably 200 miles of trails.
So there's over 250 miles in Ross County.
Really? I'm not talking bike paths.
So subtract 26
I'm
out of that.
I'm talking dirt. Dirt. Okay.
Yep. There would be 225 or so of natural surface trails.
Really? Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. So, I mean, just think of that.
Oh, it's unreal.
And so a lot of that's ODNR. I mean, they're a large land manager, but there are others too. There's the Ross County Park District is one that has been a super good partner. Really is getting more aggressive in how they think about trail development. And so I'm anxious to see how that turns out. They've been a good partner.
Yep.
Referencing High University has partnered with us at Chillicothe Trails as well to look at maybe some property that could develop into some additional trails. So that's kind of where we're at. We're really forming those partnerships and trying to come up with a good vision, solid strategies that we can then develop more trails in our community.
Yeah. Huh. All right. Well, so is Chillicothe Trails any way they can look you up?
For sure. So we are on Facebook and Instagram, I think. I'm not the social media person in all this.
Oh, man. You know what? This may be the first time I've ever seen you on the internet.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
I've attempted Facebook twice. I worked with the Park District on the levee campaign a few years ago, and I tried. I did a little video recording, and it just pains me. I'm
not enjoyable for you.
It's not. Yeah. It's painful. So I do stay off social media, but we are on Facebook. It's Chillicothe Trails. You can look us up. We also have a website, chillicothetrails.org. One of the things that we are trying to do is garner more members, and quite frankly, it's not about the $25 or $35. I don't know what the membership fee is. It's really about how do we start to create that that community of trail users. And so if we're able to kind of pull them together,
that Colorado feel of outdoorsmen.
We're going to start doing some more events, doing like a quarterly type meeting, newsletters, so we start to form good communication and get people excited. Yeah.
Do some branding.
We got some work to do.
Yeah, Are you still in the stage where you're trying to build that critical mass?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Like I said, we've had some really good success with developing partnerships. We've had some good success advocating for DNR. We've developed good relationships with our leaders. The city of Chillicothe, the county commissioners, they're all supportive of this direction that we're talking about, but we still haven't really hit that critical mass yet with the public.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where we're at. I feel like we've maybe haven't focused enough attention on just that community communication.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So how can they find you? And also you want to talk about the youth.
Yeah. So one of the focus areas is definitely youth and youth mountain biking.
Uh-huh.
We talked about your football.
Yeah, sure.
Why do you start?
Absolutely.
You had 130 some kids come out, right?
Yeah, right.
In 5th and 6th grade,
right.
And that's how you develop a solid football program.
Sure,
you got to start. So it's the same thing with mountain biking. So I know you had Brad Weaver, who's the NICA team director. He's also on our board at Chillicothe Trails. But that is one of our focus areas. That's one of our key strategies is we've got to develop, more people on bikes and youth is the place that needs to start. So Brad's doing a super job. He's doubled his riders this year.
Did he?
Yeah.
I need to.
Yeah. Check into that. Kohler's another huge supporter of that. And so I'm really excited about how that's developing because that's what we need. We need to get those youth on the mountain bike so we can get, then you go to the parents, and the parents are engaged, and they're saying, why don't we not have a good beginner trail? Because we really don't have a great beginner trail.
Yeah.
So why not?
Right.
Where are we going to put that? And so once you get that critical mass, you get good communication, then we can start, developing, better trails.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just it takes time. It just takes time, manpower, people, and just keeps people staying at it.
Yep.
So look you guys up.
Yeah, they got to look these guys up.
You got any questions for him?
No, man. I mean, I think this has been very informative.
Yeah, I love it, man. When we were at Michigan a couple weeks ago, it was people on the bike paths everywhere, and like these bike paths were like 70 miles.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, I mean, I just think it's something that community awareness and involvement. It's got to happen, and away it'll go. So look these guys up.
Yeah, I actually think even if there was a way to intertwine all those, what a way of transportation, really. I mean, if you can. Like in New York City, not that you're New York City, but I mean, in all honesty, like if you really wanted to, if like, let's say you worked in Jackson and and you wanted to, you could ride a bike back and forth to work.
Oh, well, sure. Yeah. I mean,
if you really wanted to, there'd be a lot of people that would maybe if there was accessible ways to do it.
Sure. And that's a function, that's the other kind of partnership we've developed with the health district. And so we do have an active transportation plan as of last year. You've started to see some bike sharos and just trying to promote that bike culture. It's not there yet.
Yeah.
We're just in that adolescent phase. So
Well,
There.
that's exciting.
Yeah, you'll get there. Hey, look them up. So
look them up.
Hey, thanks, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right,
Appreciate
no
you
problem,
joining
man.
us. Thanks for your time.
Hey, Chubby, look them up. See you.